Now, it's always good to get a sneak peek behind the scenes of anywhere, especially somewhere like the Palace Theatre. This is steeped in so much history, and you might have walked around here, you know, been to see a show and not really paid that much attention to what you're seeing, and this is why we've got Carol with us today. Now, you're going to take us to a couple of your favourite hotspots. Now, we're starting here. Tell us where we are and a little bit about what we're seeing.
Well, we're on the circle level of the palace, and this is what remains of the Railway Inn. So this predates the theatre, this little area, and many people come in the theatre this way from the pavement on Oxford Street. And as you come up the stairs, you'll find Hardy's Bar right in front of you, and you pass through this area. And as you can see, it is beautifully tiled, Victorian tiling, and it's quite yellow because obviously when this was around and being used as a pub, it was heavily filled with smokers. This is the Railway Inn, which we bought in around 1895 for £375 off the landlady.
£375. Is this the oldest part?
This is the oldest part of the venue. It is. We're not sure how old the pub actually is. We think that this is much older than we think it is.
And it's absolutely, it's very Grecian. You know, you've got like some of the gods on these tiles, haven't you? And I suppose these are protected, not that you would want to change them. You wouldn't be allowed to, would you?
No, we couldn't. In this area as well, there's a door that is the oldest door in the whole of the venue, and we had to get a special permission to put the hardware on it. So when you do come through here, if you're using the facilities, you will see this door, and it is a very, very old door. So this little area here has got so much history in it, and it's absolutely magical. I love it.
So next time you're walking up the stairs, then do take a closer look. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, it's not often that you get the chance to delve into the archives of one of the oldest theatres here in Manchester. It feels really special. You've dug deep today to show us some special items.
This is almost a press release that would have been around a few days before we opened in 1891. And this is dated the 15th of May, 1891, and this would have been given to the press. So when they came on the night before, well, 2 nights before we opened, they were given this. And we opened on Monday, Monday 1891. So that was what the original programme looked like. This is just a copy. We haven't got an original programme, unfortunately.
And the show was Cleopatra. So what we've got here, we've got like the names of the cast, we've got kind of what they're going to hear from the show and everything. And beautiful colours.
Yeah, stunning. When we opened, they wanted some culture, so we thought we'll have a ballet, and we'll see whether Manchester likes the ballet. And that lasted for 3 or 4 months, and then they went to variety after that. But the very first production was a ballet, Cleopatra. We're very lucky that people do send us programmes in, and this one came in quite recently, and this one dates from 1923. And it's a little bit worn, but it's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And this one's got the adverts in for local businesses, which I absolutely love when you look through some of these programmes.
Brilliant, I love it. New method of Eugene permanent hair waving, and there she is, looking so glamorous, stunning.
Absolutely stunning. This is the original ledger from when we opened in 1891, which we've got all our original ledgers, and they are beautiful. But some of them list the people that invested, so they pay £5 for a share.
£5?
£5, a full £5. And it lists all the shareholders, but it also tells you who was on, who the acts were, who the turns were, and tells you how much they were paid. And some people obviously were more popular than others, which is probably the same today, but they're fascinating and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And we've got one here which is one of my favourites, and it's not the oldest, but this one starts in 1959. And it states what we took on bars, what we took on cigarettes, what we took on cloakroom, but it finished in 1971.
It's so neat and meticulous. I can't believe it. The handwriting here is just gorgeous.
It is. It's stunning. I could sit for hours just reading through these books because they're fascinating. There's so much of our history in these books.
Yeah, and talking of handwriting and history, I know that you have brought the autograph book with you today. Can we have a sneak peek? Now this is literally the place where all these big names and stars kind of came to before they left.
This book has been around for a long time and we very rarely get the book out. It's a beautiful book and there's some incredible signatures in, and within the first few pages we've got Charles. So this is now King Charles, his signature from 1981.
Wow.
And then a few pages along we've actually got Diana's signature, and this was on a separate occasion, and Diana came and was sat in the royal box, as most of them did. So this is from 1990, but this book is very precious to the theatre, very precious.
Special, wow.
Well, I've got to say, it's a height of activity at the Palace Theatre. I just thought this was the entrance, but looks to me like you're going to make me sing, Carol. Please say no. I know that the productions tend to utilise all the spaces, don't they?
They do. So that's what this is. This is going to be a rehearsal space for the next show that's coming up. So originally, this would have been the entrance for the stalls and for the circle. We had another entrance on Whitwell Street, and that would have been for the Grand Tier and for the circle. But as you came through, this was all marble, so there was no carpet. So the whole of this area has got a marble floor underneath, and it's still there.
Still there?
Still there.
I would love to see that. That's so grand. But of course, the venue is grand itself. What else was different? Anything else changed?
Well, if we come this way, I'll show you what's different. So, when you came in and you were going to the circle, you would have gone up a massive staircase here. So there was a big marble staircase, and at the top there was an archway, and that was the entrance to the circle, and they moved it. So when we were renovated, we moved the entrance because everybody coming through will know that this is very cold, this foyer. But if you were sat at this, in the back of the circle here, you would have the cold air come straight onto the back of you. So they moved it, so now we have the entrances where they are. But we kept the archway, which is at the top of the stairs, and that's still here in the venue, and it's in the circle bar.
So stairs would have been here, not on the sides. I'm going to have to take a look at this.
We need to go and see.
So this is the place you were talking about, and my word, it looks incredible.
It does. This is the archway that was the entrance to the circle, and it was moved and it was put in the circle bar when it was renovated. And we didn't realise anything about it other than, wow, it's amazing. We saw it on some of our old programmes. The old programmes from the 1920s and 30s had the archway on the front cover. So in more recent years, we took some pictures of it and we sent them to the British Museum, and they came back and said it dates from the 16th century, this archway. So we know that it belonged in one of the directors' houses when we were built, and he brought it to the big stadium piece in the foyer. And they kept it when we were renovated and moved it here, and it's incredible.
And I just love the marble, and if you're touching it when you're in here, you are touching something that is hundreds of years old. And to think that the carvings are amazing, your faces in there, you've got dragons in there, and have we got a bee in there as well?
We've got two bees and they are incredible. We're really happy that our archway has got the Manchester bee in it, and it's always going to be our Manchester bee.
It feels like this was the place that it was destined for.
Definitely.
Well, this is our last stop. Where are we now, Carol?
So we're in the Grand Tier, which is the top tier of the theatre. Potentially there was another tier above that held around 400 people. Not sure how high that would have been, because this is quite high.
Yeah, I can't imagine that, but I guess it's been through so many changes, as we talked about those at other locations.
Yeah. So originally when we opened, we held 3,675 people, which is almost double what we have now. So there were a lot of wooden benches and people would have been asked to move along, so we could have squeezed a few more people in.
And it's gone through wars, hasn't it, this theatre?
It has. In the Second World War it was bombed, so the corner of the Grand Tier was bombed. But all the way through the war there were sold out shows because people wanted it. There used to be a little advert in the programme that said, if there is an air raid, you are welcome to stay in the theatre or go to the nearest air raid shelter, and most people stayed in the venue.
Well, of course you would stay in the venue. It's an absolutely gorgeous venue, and it's an active venue because you can hear the production. They're doing the rehearsals right now, so I think we better start them. Now they say if you love the job that you do, you will never work a day in your life, and that is definitely true for this lady. Carol, you have been at the Palace Theatre and Opera House for 25 years. You must love your job.
I do love my job. I walk through the venue, I walk through the auditorium every day when I come in. I say hello to the theatre, which I always do. I think of the people that have been on the stage, and I think of the people that I've met whilst I've been working here, and it's a magical place to work.
I bet it is, and so many people coming through those doors, and a lot of famous people, some who have started their careers right here and not on stage either.
Well, yeah, we've had quite a few famous people work front of house. Joe Lycett being one of the most famous. We're still friends, he's still part of our Palace family, still messages us and says hi. Faye Brooks. We've got a little bit of contact and we keep in touch, and it's just lovely. And it's lovely to see them all doing so really well.
And for them it must feel like coming home and being so special on that very stage. Now, come on, spill the dirt. There has been famous people that have walked in that have come to see the incredible shows that we've had here. Have you got any stories you can share?
I've got one or two, but I can't tell you all of them. I'm not allowed, but I have met some incredible people. My heroes were Brian May and Roger Taylor. For me, I walked into the bar downstairs and Roger Taylor was at the bar, and I walked up to him and I said, I like your boots. And I thought, why did you say you liked his boots? You could have said anything else.
Well, at least you did get Brian and say, I like your hair. Were they here for We Will Rock You?
They were. They came on at the end of the show, and it was phenomenal. 14-year-old Carol was in her element, stood at the back of the stall screaming her head off. It was fantastic.
I bet you were. Well, 14-year-old Michelle likes the fact that you may have had Jude Law here as well.
Well, yes, Jude's been a couple of times. He came because Damon Albarn has been here and put on a couple of his productions which were incredible, Dr. D and Monkey, and he came because he's friends with Jude Law. Yes, it did come over all womanly a couple of times, I have to admit, but they were lovely. Absolutely, he was gorgeous.
And they have to be lovely. They're here in Manchester and we are all lovely people. I'm going to put you on the spot though. I am going to ask you to name your favourite show that's ever been on stage here or the Opera House.
Well, my first show was Stomp, and I still have a sort of warm place for Stomp. But my favourite was a play that was at the Opera House with Dawn French and Alison Moyet, and I absolutely loved it. The story was phenomenal. I love Dawn French, she's a hero of mine. Me and my bestie were sat near Lenny Henry. It was just magical. I've never forgotten it. It was such an amazing play, and the story was fantastic.
I bet Lenny Henry didn't forget sitting next to you as well.
Well, I like to think, yes, that he has remembered me over the years.
Well, here's to many more years here. We don't want to lose you. Congratulations on 25, and we'll see you next time. Do they call you Auntie Carol?
They do call me Auntie Carol.
The next time that you come in to the Palace Theatre or the Opera House, you know, you're calling her